Hello friends, welcome to the video series on automated business performance reporting packs. I extend all of you a very warm welcome to this video series. Given that this is our first video series, we would love to hear your feedback and comments. Okay, so as the name goes, the automated business performance reporting packs is nothing but, it generates a reports automatically based on selection for a particular month. Okay, so what it does is it prepares a monthly performance update summary for the senior management. It is particularly useful for those who work in the corporate strategy, corporate finance, or finance and accounting kind of roles, wherein on a regular basis they're asked by the senior management to give an update on the business. And this reporting pack which we have prepared, we believe it will be very useful for for some of them who work in such kind of profile. Typically, a reporting pack would include monthly update on on four broad areas. One is sales, second is operating matrix or key performance indicators, third is financial statements, which is particularly the monthly financial statements. And the fourth is the most recent updated financial forecast for the next 12 months or maybe next 6 months, whatever be the case may be. And then compare these four particular aspects across a period, across a time period, maybe with past data, the past 3 to 6 months, or compare it with the budgets which is typically prepared at the beginning of the financial year. Okay, so it gives you a lot of analytics and comparisons between various periods and things like that. And the challenge here is that one has to generate a one-click report to include all these parameters. Okay, so what is a key feature of this performance pack? First important thing is the overall design. Well, the overall design should summarize, all the key important things which a senior management would love to see. Very shortly, I'm gonna take you through the dashboard which we have prepared, which we believe is quite useful for the senior management to track and kind of summarizes everything in one page, and then we describe each of these things in detail later on in the later pages. The second aspect of this um, reporting pack will be a user defined selection for months. So for example, if I want to report for September, automatically everything should be matched for the September month. Or if I want to change it to August, it should give me an August report. Okay, the third and the most important thing in this presentation or in this reporting pack, you may call it, is something called smart charts. So what these charts typically do is that these charts are nothing but linked pictures, which I'll explain in in greater details later on in my series of videos. But as of now, what it means is that it's kind of a linked picture which will give you, various details, and it has got broadly three features. One is dynamic range selection, which means that suppose I want a chart on sales analysis, which is in worksheet 1, or then automatically if I select sales, it should reflect the picture taken from worksheet 1. But suppose I want to go back to operating performance, then automatically it should, which is in worksheet 2, automatically it should capture worksheet 2. So this is something very, dynamic again. The second feature is the axis formatting, which is, in some cases the charts require a number formatting. For example, it's an inventory analysis or it's cost of goods sold analysis, you always need numbers. But if it's something like a ratio, then what you would need is a percentage. you know so this chart automatically presents data in either in number format or in percentage format or whatever format you may like to have. So I have included two variant, like number format or percentage format in my current dashboard, and the reporting pack, which kind of broadly summarize, which kind of broadly covers these two things. um, the third part is a dynamic period comparison, which is to do with, you know, whatever period you may like to have the data or the trend analysis. So for example, if you like to see the period of say 6 months, then only those 6 months will be plotted in the chart and not any other months, right? If you want to change it to 12 months, automatically 12 months will be plotted in the chart. Okay, so we'll see about it. Let's go to the dashboard and see how it looks like. Okay, go back to let's go to the dashboard, um, which is in this Excel sheet format. Let's have a look at the cover page. So this cover page basically gives a monthly business update for the month of September. So if you want to select say something like August, it will be automatically changed to August, you know, and you can select any month and this will automatically change. And likewise, all other tabs which is there in the worksheet will be automatically changed for December 16. Okay. Okay, and let's move on to the table of content. We intend to cover, you know, this dashboard in broadly four areas, or rather five areas. So one is the executive summary, which kind of summarizes everything. Then, you know, a little more details on the key operating matrix, on how the company is doing in terms of its operations. Third is how the sales, you know, looks like, from which geographies the sales are coming from, giving a detailed breakdown of sales, like sales from various customers, or sales from various geographies, or sales from various processes, right? And then the next two is two things are, one is financial statements, which is nothing but monthly P&L, cash flow and balance sheet, and then the financial forecast, which is the most recent updated forecast available for the senior management, to the senior management, and to understand what can be the future outlook of the business, right? Okay, so let's go to executive summary. So this is the executive summary. Let's have a closer look at it. So this is, you know, um, executive summary. The first top portion of my executive summary is something called financial snapshot, right? It gives you an understanding of how the overall financial performance for that particular month looks like in comparison with several parameters, such as budget, which is, you know, reflected as BD, or prior period, which is, you know, abbreviated as PP. And if you see that, you know, these cells have got conditional formatting. So for example, if your number is like 2% high, then it will automatically show a green color with a up arrow. And if something is 0%, then it will be, you know, kind of yellow arrow. So let's see that, you know, for a month like August, how the scenario is. So if you see, it again automatically updated. You know, if it is negative, if this number is negative, then automatically the conditional formatted cell will reflect as a down arrow. Okay, so it's pretty basic, but you know, it kind of gives you a very good understanding and very simple understanding of how a particular month has fared in comparison with various parameters, right? And then the second part of my executive summary is key operating matrix, which is covered by important ratios which are used in manufacturing firm. I have taken an example of manufacturing firm, but you're always free to take an example of anything, you know, a software company. But we can easily make a change in the reporting pack, which won't take much time because it's again very dynamic. If you see, it's coming from a sheet called dashboard underscore calculation sheet. So if you just enter any other parameter, it will be automatically updated. And then below these donut charts, there is something called a micro chart. These micro chart are also quite smart. If you see, you know, uh, this measures how a particular month or a year to date parameter performs with regards to budget. So this budget line or the target line is denoted by this vertical black line, and if that performance of that particular month or a period is below the budget, then automatically this bars will be shown in red color. And if it is more than the budget, then it will be shown in gray color, you know. Okay, so then the third part is sales summary. So if you see the sales, um, we just need to click the sales summary and a macro will run, and then automatically it will generate a sales summary, which will give us sales by customer or sales by geography or sales by product, right? And then at the the corner right side, we're giving a broad snapshot of unlevered cash flows or cash flows for that particular month or year to date. Okay, and then below we are also showing a trend, which is a kind of sparkline charts, which will give you a very quick update, a very quick understanding of how the cash flow trends looks like across months, right? And then you have something as scroller, which can give you updates in ratios. So here we are computing the key ratios. I've just given some dummy numbers like ratio 1 2 3 4, and you can always give anything, right? Right now we are seeing these monthly trends. I've put a column for monthly trends. It's not getting updated because something in my Excel sheet is currently grouped. So once I remove that grouping, automatically this will be shown. Okay, as of now I've just kind of grouped it um, in my Excel sheet, but that's not a you know that's just a small thing on this particular part. Okay, so now let's move to the detailed report. In my detailed report, what I'm covering is basically two aspects. So one is sales analysis and one is operating performance. So if you click into operating performance, okay, and then you'll see that there are these pentagons will be automatically updated depending on the selection. So if you click on sales, it will be automatically updated as sales, and then customer A, customer B, which is nothing but breakdown of each of the customers and how the sales looks like for each of these customers. Okay, so let's talk about on operating performance. So in operating performance, if you see this chart is it's showing NA, but what you need to do is that you need to click on this pentagon. So once you click on this pentagon, it will automatically update this chart. Okay, so this chart is a most important chart which I have created in this which we have created in this dashboard. Is that if you see, the link of this chart is coming from something called a chart selection area, which is nothing but a named range. So this is what I was discussing in my presentation, that it dynamically selects a particular range depending on the criteria that is selected. Okay, another important part of this chart is, if you see, this chart is reflecting a percentage axis. Okay, but if you click on the another pentagon, which will give a details on the production and shipping volume, automatically the axis will change to numbers, right? So this is a very important dynamic thing which is there in the chart, and I believe that kind of very important from an overall presentation perspective. You don't need to change the formatting again and again, and it saves a lot of time, right? Similarly, you go on to the next step, which is the next pentagon, which is material and production cost. It will give you the production cost, the material cost, fuel cost, and other expenses, right? Similarly, there is inventory analysis, labor cost, and others, right? Okay, so let's see what it gives in sales. So if you click it on sales and you click this pentagon, the top pentagon, it will give you a summary of sales. And right now the macro is running, and this gives sales by customer, sales by geography, sales by product, and sales by process. Okay, similarly, if you want to see for a particular customer what kind of products you have sold and what kind of which products are sold in which geographies, you can always get a breakdown. So that gives you a further breakdown on each of these customers if you click on the next pentagons. Okay, so this is, again, this is like, there is another important aspect. This is like sales by type of business. So for example, from a particular customer, is the growth of business coming from an existing business, or is it a new, completely new area of business which you're dealing with that customer? So so this dashboard computes these quite a bit details on the sales part. Okay. Okay, another part which I missed showing out is in the operating parameters. If you click on these ratios, and you can just change the period. So for example, my start date is Jan and my finish end date is December. So if, let's say, I started from May, and then I finish it on, let's say, November, automatically you see the range is from May to November, right? So it doesn't really shows any other period. Similarly, I've got something like financial statements, which will give a brief overview of how the financials looks like for for in terms of P&L and cash flow. I also have something like balance sheet, right? So this balance sheet, I've kind of grouped it, but in case anybody wants it, they can always have a look at the balance sheet variable. Similarly, for the financial forecast, how the financial forecast looks for the next 12 months or the next financial year, so that it gives an update to the senior management in terms of how the business outlook seems to be in the coming financial year, right? It again gives you broadly two things. One is the P&L and cash flow statement, right? So that's it. If this is the broadly the reporting pack. Okay. And then somebody who is working on this pack, they can just click on this button, and automatically a PPT will be generated, which is this PPT, which automatically you know generates a report at the click of a button, right? So you get, this is like the same presentation which you get from the Excel sheet. Okay. So that's it. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for listening to me. And in the next presentation, we will kind of break down each of these components of this Excel sheet, and we'll see how we can prepare this kind of dashboards.